man, my fertilizer is not always going to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it did, because then I wouldn't have to carry around 2,500 pounds of freaking sand. But guess what? There's things that putting that physical mass of sand on is going to eliminate, and it's going to eliminate the problem for years. I'm talking years if we do this right, and then the cultural practices afterwards are followed, like watering and mowing. So how high do you mow? Preferably after 2 blunts. What's up, baby? It's AJ with the More Than Grass podcast here with Gardy of Clear Life Media. Let's talk a little bit about some dirt, man.
We're gonna get into the dirt.
Let's get into the dirt again, because it's a topic that I see that has not enough understanding. Gardy, what do you know about compost?
I'm gonna be honest, nothing. I think that it's a bunch of stuff, and this is my honest assessment. If I had to guess, and I'm gonna say it's a guess, compost, that it's just stuff that's just like I don't even want to say like mulched up, but just like ground up. I think of like coffee beans.
Okay.
Like it's a coffee bean, and it's like, okay, this is our compost. Not necessarily coffee beans, but just I don't know what it is.
That's a very good, fair assessment.
Okay.
Or let's say, how many different types of sand is there? Now, that's a very loaded question, I know, but just give me some examples of different types of sand.
Let's see, in our area.
Doesn't even matter about our area, just...
Okay, so we do a lot of work with Lagomar, and there's sand there. That sand is white, because that's a big part of the selling point. We don't have white sand in our area. Over in Galveston, we have brown sand, which is a big part, from what I understand, why our water is beautifully brown. You know, and then there's the white sand, there's the brown sand. I'm sure they have different names and different things, but from what I know, that's two.
Okay, how about, I said compost sand, soil types?
Soil types, okay. Whenever I've done a lot of different jobs, and I know even digging in one area, there's different kinds of soil. So where it's like, hey, it's a lot easier to dig here. It's tougher to dig there. Hey, to get this started, we're going to use the backhoe, and then from there you can use the shovel. At one point, I was helping put in some what they call sack boxes, SAIs, AT&T. But you got to, I mean, they're tall. It may be as tall as me, but you have to dig as deep down. You only see half of it, so you're way in there. So you're digging with the shovel.
You said a sack box?
Yeah, SAI or sack box. Mm-hmm. But that's what, not that this is related at all, but that way utilities or AT&T, your phone line, your internet, even a fiber, you know, it just kind of runs through those boxes, those terminals.
Okay.
But that all goes through the dirt, and I know at the top, hey, we got to get through this, and it's tough to get down to the other soil where you can dig a little bit easier.
Where it's a little more manageable.
Yeah.
Right. All fair answers. And I ask because Hippie Fertilizing has gotten very popular over the years from providing a lawn top dressing service. Okay. Around here, we have hard clay soils. It's called gumbo clay, right? Which isn't a bad thing. Clay is very misunderstood, misutilized, and then the crap we put on it makes it worse. We'll go into that in a minute. But I top dress lawns, meaning I put an extra material on top of the lawn, generally in a thin layer. If it's a really ugly, rough lawn, I know I can mat it down with the material, and grass will grow into it, and it helps amend that soil layer or the clay layer, stuff like that. Something I saw a few weeks ago kind of got under my skin a little bit. I bring over some bags of this fancy leaf mold compost, and there's different grades or levels of compost. This stuff is fine screened. You have stuff that's not fine screened, so it's coarse screened. I put that down, put some fertilizer down, and this is at my dad's place, his little pier or whatever. He noticed some difference within a few days, right? Mm-hmm. So my dad's all gung-ho, if it looks better, let's do more. I was trying to do an experiment with a certain fertilizer from Nelson's Plant Food. And it's very hard to do experiments when I know the full control of certain aspects are not there, like watering, right? But he saw the compost, saw the results, and he went out and bought a bunch of stuff from the big box store. So I go back 2 weeks later, like I said I would, to try and see what my results were of what I did, and I see all this mulchy looking crap all over here. And I'm like, Dad, what'd you do? Did I tell you to touch this? Because I'm trying to really hone in on what's the best, how does this work? So if I can't control variables, the experiment doesn't work as well, right? Or hardly at all. Mm-hmm. Point being is, he goes to the big box store and he says, well, AJ, it said it was organic. I'm like, that's your only thing of judging a bag of soil is because it said it was organic. Let me tell you guys, okay? Being someone who has gone all around Houston to most soil yards, especially the big ones, picked up their soil, smell it, breathe it, touch it, see how it crumbles. Sometimes I've tasted it, gotta take a parasite cleanse now. I can tell you from tons of experience, just because it says something on the package doesn't mean that's what it is, or that's how good it is. So he did that. It kind of ruined my experiment. Also made the stuff look a little crummy, and he didn't spread it out as good as I would like. So I tell people, it's like if you called me, hey AJ, I want to fix my lawn, and I say, well, you need to get flower bed mix from over here. And I tell you, hey, I'm gonna charge you $350 per cubic yard to do it. Gardy, let's just say you're telling me, dude, no, that's too much. I'm not paying that, right? I'm gonna have my lawn guy come and spread some dirt for me.
Right.
What do you think is gonna happen?
I think that next time I ask you advice, you're not going to give it. And I think that it may not work as good as it could. I'll save money. I can maybe ruin the lawn in the long run. So a lot of different things that could happen from that decision.
There are. Okay, but here's what typically happens. Mm-hmm. I say go over here, and I don't even care that you chose your lawn care guy. I really don't. If that guy's gonna do it for cheaper, you save some money, he gets to make some money, I get to go on to the next person.
Yeah.
No blood, no foul.
Yeah.
Right? Here's where my real irritation comes in. Hey, Gardy, I need you, if you're gonna fix this problem properly, you need to go get the flower bed mix over at this garden center and buy it in bulk, and that's gonna be what's gonna give you the best results on the lawn. Well, you call Johnny over to do it, and he says he's gonna do it for $100 less and whatnot. Well, he gets 50-50 mix. 50-50 mix is usually some heavy clay stuff, what they call topsoil. It's just a very heavy blend. So, maybe he saved $20 a cubic yard on the material, or $10, whatever it is. But he didn't get the flower bed mix, mm-hmm. because neither of you understood the importance of getting the blend that I recommended, right? And in doing so, probably about a month later, you're going to realize that didn't work out so well. AJ?
Yeah.
Can you fix this?
AJ, you're still in business. I know last week you said, hey, I went through everybody and you're still in business. Can we try that, what you suggested last time?
Right. And I said, well, it's still $350 per cubic yard.
Maybe more.
I'm thinking in the back of my head. And plus the $50 charge for screwing it up.
Yeah.
Because in those cases too, sometimes we'll have to go through and rough stuff up or add extra amendments like my Hippie juice or 824 or some Humates Plus or something to help more like remediate the problem and make what I want work. And in all the years, I've had to learn this stuff the hard way, right? I've put bags of everything down. I've put like all the soils down. I've did what those guys did with thinking like, man, this product is so expensive. I don't want to use that. Back when I used to mow grass for $20 a lawn, right? Anyone out there doing that to you, man? My heart truly goes out to you, and quit doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, you're ruining it for the rest of the lawn care guys. I know some of you guys ain't gonna like hearing that on the other side, but
Well, I feel like you can't do it for that long. Like $20, I mean, the fuel, like getting to where you're going in the lawnmower and the truck and maintenance of the trailer, that's not the topic, but that's tough. You're not going to be in business that long, and then you're going to charge more, and then again, it just ruins it for most.
everyone involved,
Right? Yeah.
right? But you're right, not the topic. But I've been there, I've done those sort of things, and the more I learned about soil and the different types, I learned that it makes a huge difference of what I put down, how it's going to respond, and what it's going to do. I've had to come to the realization recently, and I'm embarrassed to say this, and some people aren't going to like my answer, but I was using a very fancy compost. Is it good stuff? It is. You want to amend your pot or holes that you're putting plants in, any kind of plants, shrubs, roses, whatever. You know, a good screened leaf mold compost is amazing to help establish that plant. Or if you got a little rough spot in the lawn, fancy bag of leaf mold compost, very easy to move around, spread, stuff like that, right? But for most of our lawns, you just don't have the mass and the material and the right, what would you call it? Basically like the right mix, right? To make a true long-term better result. So the other day, I put down a cubic yard of bank sand on this guy's yard. I thought I was gonna get out of lawn leveling. Lawn leveling said, no, sucker. We're one, baby. You and that shovel.
Yeah.
Put down a bunch of bank sand, put down my 824 fertilizer, told the guy to water. 9 days. 9 days. It has shown a significant difference. And I say that to say this. A lot of people call me about lawn top dressing. That's what we've been known for. And as I'm moving forward on trying to elevate my service and my results, I'm learning that the lawn top dressing was good. It definitely yielded great results. But a lawn leveling is better, especially with the right fertilizer on most of these lawns, because they're bumpy, they're a little all over the place. Over the last few years, and every 5 years really, we get all these weather things. So you get erosion, you get drought, you get freeze, you get all these things that are impacting your soil profile, and you don't realize it because it's happening slowly. You know, every time it rains, you ever notice like a little bit of soil out in front of your lawn or on the sidewalk? That's just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine, okay, it happens all the time. So we need to replace that physical mass again. And the best way to do that is with like a bank sand or a lawn mix. A couple of these yards have a solid lawn mix. I'm weary of telling people all the time of using a lawn mix. And it kind of goes back to understanding the difference of what a soil is, a sand, so on and so forth, right? I love that fancy little compost because it's easy to use. I know it's a high grade product, but it doesn't have the physical mass to do what I needed it to do. And I'm seeing this, so I'm going back on some of these lawns, right? And I'm like, oh, I don't like this. All right, we're bringing in lawn mix. Well, how much are you going to charge me for this? Luckily, they were small jobs, so I'm like, I'm not, because this sucked. So I'm not going to use it. It's pointless to me. We're going to go back to using the heavier mix. So I was talking earlier about a flower bed mix. It says flower bed mix, right? So it confuses people. And I hate this sometimes because I'll say you, hey, go over here, buy this flower bed mix and put this on your lawn. You get there, maybe you don't have tunnel vision enough, right? And that's okay. We get distracted, or, guy behind the counter thinks he knows what's up. Well, what are you doing? Oh, well, just buy the lawn mix. Lawn mix is good, but if I told you to go buy the flower bed mix, that's what I wanted you to get. Not the garden mix, not the 50-50 blend, not the mason sand, because the flower bed mix, at least around here, has a good amount of sand, silt, sometimes little specks of clay, and thicker organic matter. On a lot of our lawns, we don't want this super fine coarse stuff. It doesn't achieve what we need it to, and it's expensive. It is so expensive for the results that it yields. All right, I'd rather go buy, I'll be honest, this $7 bag of flower bed mix from over here at the yard center versus that super fine compost. Do you know how much it goes for?
How much?
$16.
Mm-hmm. I have a question about how it comes, and I think that we've talked about this before. Like, you can put it like in a trailer, but do they sell it in bags? If you said, hey, go get the flower bed mix, and I was like, okay, and they sell it in like bags, like it would be a bag of fertilizer, but in a bag of the mix?
So over here, and we're in League City area, League City, Texas. Over here at Jardinia's Garden Center, they do have all their materials pre-bagged, but they take them and bag their materials, right? They're not buying another company's soil mix or stuff like that, and they bag their own stuff. So yes, if I told you, hey, go over here, get a bag of lawn mix, they have it in bags.
And then to apply it, because I know with if I'm using the Hippie blend fertilizer, I could put that in my little thing, but with the dirt, you're shoveling it to make it spread it out there. How does that generally work?
If you're buying the bags of lawn mix or the flower bed mix, you just open up that bag, dump it upside down, and get a rake and
rake it out. Okay.
Thin it out.
That's what I was missing, because I'm thinking, how do you even apply that? Just my ignorance.
Well, that's a good, fair question, right? And then with the rake, okay, I like to use what is considered like a hard garden rake, and then sometimes a professional landscape rake, which is a really long aluminum one. And in a lot of cases with, say, our bigger lawn leveling, top dressing jobs, we'll use a leveling rake afterwards. So it's like a process, right? I use the smaller one to knock it down. I use the landscape rake to really smooth it out, and then I go back over it with the leveling rake to give it this more finished look and get everything down in there the best as possible. I'm saying that to say, with these garden rakes, people will use it with the prongs down, and they're like, digging it, roughing up their whole lawn. Flip the rake upside down and use the flat side. Works so easy. My little sister showed me this. I feel so embarrassed. I'm not even kidding. That little girl, man, she is smart. And for one of my first top dressing jobs, I'm using like a regular leaf rake, right? And I'm struggling to move all this stuff. And she looks at me and she looks at my other rake and she said, AJ. She grabs the rake, flips it upside down. She's like, why don't you go like this? I'm sorry. I think back of that day and how simple it was, and that my little sister was the one who pointed out to me that I was working way too hard. Like, thank you, Madison, for teaching me how to do my job, because on that day she did.
It's actually really cool, just being able to find like tips and techniques from anywhere, because like sometimes people are like, well, I'm a professional, that's just not the way it's done. I've seen it so many times in different industries, but you can find that innovation sometimes from an outside perspective, or just from anywhere. That's really cool.
Right. And that's happened a lot. I would say working with Hispanic guys, that's happened so much. When I was younger, I'd be doing something, and it's like something about working with the Hispanic guys, they know how to do everything easier. Everything, man. Like, I'm over here trying to dig out a plant, and he don't even know how to speak English, and I don't know how to speak Spanish, and like, no, 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 no. Watch. Okay. I'm watching. He's like, starts digging at a different angle and goes around the plant all different. And I'm trying to just manhandle it in there, and I'm like, oh, you just made that so easy. I helped one of my buddies install a tree about a month ago. And the people they bought it from came and brought it, and we got some compost and some fertilizer to help with establishment. The guy who brought it saw me and, my readiness to do stuff, and he said, hey, let me show you how to do this. Dude, I've been in this industry for 14 years. I've moved more soil and dirt than most people could imagine. Okay, at least in my smaller years, it's like a 1-2 man crew. Dude, we've moved mountains and dug holes and dug trees and dug up plants, you name it. The other day, I learned one of the greatest new secrets. He dug a hole in the center. So this is a 45-gallon plant. You generally want to make it about 6 inches bigger than whatever the pot is. Okay. 8 inches, even 10 inches. You want some space around it to fill back in. Anyway, he said, where's this plant going to be? Oh, right here. Okay, watch this. Dug a hole. And then we went outside from the hole. Instead of starting on the outside of the hole to go in, we started from the center and went out. We dug that hole in like 10 minutes. Something that I've taken a lot longer to do. And I know it takes me less time just because I'm built and I'm ready for it. And I've watched other people do it. Takes, could take a couple hours for like a homeowner who's not ready to use a shovel and not used to digging. He made that look so easy.
That's awesome.
Like, I'll never ever
Digging's
forget.
hard work.
Dude,
it's
it
hard
is,
work.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of times I really feel and want to express that labor goes really undervalued. Oh, that's unskilled labor. Hey, Mr. Johnson, you know how you said you almost had a stroke from mowing your grass?
Right. Digging's hard work.
It is. Even working outside, all this stuff, and sometimes it's a little underappreciated. But back to the soil thing. Knowing that just because of what it says on the bag doesn't mean what it is. If it's a big box store thing and it says lawn soil, don't use that crap, okay? Please don't use it. Go to your local material yard and you're better off using one of their lawn mixes, a bank sand, or a flower bed mix. And I say specifically those because over my 10 years of fixing lawns now, out of the 14 years in the lawn industry, I've tried all this stuff. And year after year after year, it's the heavy stuff that wins. If you can pick up that bag too easy, it ain't gonna be that great for your lawn. I just hate to tell you,
Yeah.
And then what I've seen too, kind of like in our last episode, we talk about treating lawns, right? And something I really hate about our industry is that somehow we've gotten largely away from old practices of putting sand on the lawn. We have this mentality now that if there's a patch or a problem or this or that, you can treat your way through it. And even being the expert and professional, I've had to come to the realization that man, my fertilizer is not always going to fix the problem. I wish it did, because then I wouldn't have to carry around 2,500 pounds of freaking sand. But guess what? There's things that putting that physical mass of sand on is going to eliminate, and it's going to eliminate the problem for years. Right? I'm talking years if we do this right, and then the cultural practices afterwards are followed, like watering and mowing. So how high do you mow? Preferably after 2 blunts. Just kidding, folks. Seriously, if you have St. Augustine, the correct answer for that is between 3 and 4 inches. But as we get deeper into the summer, 3.5 to 4 inches, the higher you mow that grass, the more it's going to protect the root zone, retain moisture, and even absorb water when you're watering, because it's going to catch it all better. And you're going to have deeper root zones from it having longer grass. So it's going to penetrate into your soil profile better. So when you're cutting your grass all short, right, I like to do it before lawn leveling just because it makes our job infinitely easier. But after that, we want to grow the grass back up as high as possible in the summer. Especially, I really think we could help reduce a lot of watering bills just by following better cultural practices. So, in following these cultural practices, it helps improve stuff. But in all this, like, would you ever think there'd be such a difference in soils?
No, honestly, no.
No?
Yeah.
And from what I gathered of 10 years of talking to people, most people don't. And so I hope to put out the information and the awareness of definitely most of those bags are not made equal. And if I would almost want to encourage people, like, quit buying the big box store stuff. Yes, there's a few things out there that are okay. Sometimes putting down something is better than nothing if it's a more natural material. But ultimately, with the kind of lawns that we're trying to achieve, really, we need to build it. And going back to what I said earlier, there's no amount of treating a lawn that's going to build a lawn, right? Like, even, say with working out, you take all the damn supplements in the world, it ain't going to build it if I don't, do the work, right? And, because I just want to achieve these lawns that blow out the big guys and their fake commercials out of the water. Because aren't they enticing?
Well, think about, you talked about the correlation, I guess, with working out. If your diet is no good, you can take all those supplements and put all this stuff on top that has marketing, and we see ads and drink this, snort that, right? But if you're eating garbage or you're not eating the right food, it doesn't matter, right?
Well, or, sometimes bringing in that bank sand is like hitting the gym hard, right? You could have all the diet, but you're not going to build up the mass until you hit the gym hard a certain way. And it's like I want to fight it because summer times will beat me down, dude. You ever go move like 10 cubic yards of sand or 1 cubic yard of sand?
No, but I've walked from my car to the building, and that's enough for me in the summer at times. I saw, all the respect in the world, like those labor jobs, or just being outside in general, hot, cold, the extremes that we have. I mean, it's hard. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've dug holes in the summer, and it's not fun, but it needs to be done, and it's it's a good thing.
Yeah. So I guess like part of my whole point with this is, yes, there's definitely different types of soils. Understanding what you truly need to put on your lawn or flower beds makes a significant difference versus just, it said it was a bag of soil, AJ, so I threw it down. No, if that's not what I said to use, take my name off of it. Cultural practices are important, and moving to understanding that it's going to take this level of physical work and material to achieve something over treating it. I think throughout maybe every episode in my life, I want to get away from, we could just treat the lawn. Stop that thinking. It doesn't work. You see very nice fancy lawns, I guarantee you for a few months there was sand brought in somewhere, but it was fed the right way and manage to where after a few months you don't see that sand.
Yeah.
And you forgot that it happened.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, you know, something that I learned from Dr. Chapa is like skin, like your skin breaking out, you know, it's an organ, you know, like let's say I had breaking out on my hands or I had a rash and it's like, oh, I can do something. I put this ointment on and it's trying to treat the issue. But like, what's the underlying cause?
Right.
Like, what is it? Like, can you feed your body? Is it something I can eliminate from my diet? Am I putting something in my body that is it's the exact same thing. And it's like, it's just a different way of thinking. Mm-hmm. And once you adapt that way of thinking, sometimes what Dr. Chapa would always say is what you eat's important, but what you don't eat is more important. And that's really good, and that applies.
Yeah. What you don't apply to your lawn is important. Mm-hmm. So get away from the treat and defeat mentality. Let's feed it, but also let's understand that if you truly want to build up this nice, beautiful, lush lawn, we have to build the lawn. If I could just throw down a bag of fertilizer and make it look like a fake True Green commercial, trust me, I'd have it figured out right now. But you can't, okay? Thank you guys for watching. Check down in the below area for some links of things that we have, like our website and our link to the Fiesta Weed Killer, because I know that's always a big deal, okay? And give us a like and a subscribe. Thank you, dudes.